What up, everybody? It is your boy Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector. I got to tell you a story. Picture this: Roosevelt, Long Island, August of this year. We were out visiting with some of the finalists, some of the award winners for the Vanguard Benefits Hall of Fame Employer Awards. And Cerebral Palsy in Nassau County, CP Nassau, one of our business clients, a nonprofit that's a client of our business, I should say, Vanguard Benefits, is one of the finalists and is the first ever inductees of the one of the first four ever inductees into the Vanguard Benefits Hall of Fame. So while I was visiting there, we shot some videos, we had ice cream cake, we met some wonderful people, we learned about the importance of CP Nassau, and it was the first interaction and connection I had to meet my guest, Kevin Christman, who's here with me today. And I said, when I found out he was going to be speaking at a legislative breakfast later in the year in October, I made sure that I had it on my calendar and I did not miss it. And I actually didn't do an episode of Philanthropy in Focus that Friday morning to be with Kevin at this Long Island legislative breakfast. And that day I said, Kevin, I need to get you in the studio on an episode of Long Island Changemakers because I'm thrilled to know you. I'm grateful and appreciative for the work that you're doing out there in the world, and I want to highlight it on Long Island Changemakers, and that's where we are now. So Kevin Christman, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tommy.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Great to be here. Great to be here. And funny story about meeting you that day is they just said, we need you to come upstairs. And they said, you're going to be meeting some people and you may or may not have to speak. So I was like, that probably means I'm speaking. Because people like to say that to me because I'm decent at it, I guess.
You certainly are.
And, you know, so I came up there and, you know, all these employees of the agency were up there. And I'm like, oh, so we're winning an award and they want me to talk about how great CP Nassau is, which isn't hard to do because it's an awesome place. And it was so great meeting you because usually I'm just focused on, you know, trying to think of something to say because I had like 20 minutes to like...
To prepare?
Yeah, figure out while other people were getting interviewed what I was going to say, but you just made it so conversational and so easy that I just couldn't wait to see you again. Like you said we were going to, and then when you made it your business to show up at the legislative breakfast for me, I knew we had to connect. And see, that's why I guess they call you the nonprofit sector connector, because I'm at a nonprofit and you connect the sectors. So here we are.
I love that, man. Thank you for that. And have you always been so outspoken on behalf of individuals living with disabilities? I mean, first of all, thank you for everything you just said, and thank you for your leadership, because I truly believe you were a celebrity at that legislative breakfast, by the way. I wasn't there last year, but I could tell nobody wanted to go after you. No one wanted to speak after you. I think it was even the commissioner of OPWDD that had to speak after you, or she said, I will not speak after Kevin. It was something to that effect. Right. So you talk about celebrity and leadership, man. I give that all back to you. How did you start being looked at as somebody that would speak about these topics?
For me, I was just trying to figure out how to live my life. And, you know, when I first got to CP Nassau, we were on our lunch as individuals with disabilities. And they're like, tomorrow, some of us have this thing called self-advocacy, and I kind of knew what advocacy was, but you know, didn't have a real firm grasp on what it actually meant. And then I think it was either my second or third meeting that our president had some issues and had to step down, and our advisor at the time was like, we need a new president. And I mean someone really new. And I'm like, she is not talking about me right now. 3 weeks at the place, and sure enough, she asked me if I would do it, and that was 16 and a half years ago.
Wow.
And I don't run a dictatorship, so trust me, if they wanted me out of there, I'd be gone. But apparently all the other self-advocates think I'm doing a decent job because it's all about them. It's not about me. And advocacy is about teaching other people how to advocate for themselves so that they can do that when you're not there.
So empowering others, I'm hearing you say, right?
Right,
So
exactly.
So tell me about this organization that you're the president of. Like, you meet regularly with other folks to help them understand how to speak to people about what they need, because everybody's an individual, Kevin, right? It's not. It doesn't mean if somebody has, you know, this disability or that disability that they have the same exact needs. Everybody needs to advocate on their own. Is that right?
Exactly. What we do is, with the grace of the agency, they allow us building space to meet once a week, and more often if we need it, to talk about not only how we can have better relationships with, you know, our government officials on both sides, but how things are going around the building, and you know, if we need more modifications around the building, because if we don't say that there's a problem, everyone else is just guessing. So we try to be pretty forthright, although amicable, about things that need change, and you know, it's just such a joyful place to be at, because there are times when I'm there that I forget that I have a disability, and that is really, you know, one of the greatest joys of being at CP Nassau, is like just being another person, being able to fulfill whatever your talents or aspirations might be. So I think that's my biggest calling, is to help others do that for themselves.
Thank you so much for sharing that story with me, and thank you for that. That's true leadership, and hearing you talk about CP Nassau in such a wonderful light, it goes to why I am the nonprofit sector connector, because I want to spend all of my time in this sector that's making life better for people, whether it be individuals with disability, with intellectual developmental disabilities, or it be folks experiencing homelessness or food insecurity. It's the nonprofits that we partner up with and I spend time with that are doing this critically important work. And you know, your experience, I had the wonderful opportunity to see you speak, but I happened to be sitting next to your dad at the legislative breakfast, and I had a wonderful conversation with him. And the big thing that I kept hearing you, knowing we were going to have this meeting today, I kind of woke up early this morning thinking about this conversation with you. And the thing, Kevin, that really stood out for me when you were on stage that day was your focus on obviously self-advocacy, and you mentioned how unfortunately some from the federal perspective, some things have changed, and now folks have to work even harder to advocate for our community, for this population, right? Another part that stuck out to me was you were so focused. I remember speaking to you, and I remember you saying it from the stage about your dad, and you wanted to just be, you know, correct me if I'm saying this wrong, but you being involved with CP Nassau, it gives you a place where you have the support you need so your dad can take care of himself and some of the things he needs.
Correct. The thing you said about the government, that's life, right? Things change for everybody as we age, so you just have to learn how to adapt to it and either thrive because of it or change the way you look at it, bring a different energy to it. That's why I don't identify with any particular political party, because at the end of the day, I'm about uniting people and bringing people together and making sure that we all have what we need, because people are people, and people just want to feel welcome wherever they are.
Yeah.
So that's what I try to do with our advocacy group. It's an open door policy as long as you're focused on making things better. And that's why I wanted to be on your show today, because you're very focused on shining a light on places and people that make things better. And I'm surrounded by people like that. So I'm very lucky, and now I can call you one of those people. So thanks.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Tell me, thank you for saying all that. Tell me, how can we help, man? How can other folks help get the word out on whether it be the needs of CP Nassau or just the needs of different populations? I mean, how do we continue to have these dialogues and these conversations? Are there things that, you know, there was a lot of elected officials in the room that morning, you know, what would be your thoughts? How can I help? How can I help you get connected to more people?
Well, first of all, I like the fact that your show is definitely an internet presence. I've heard you talk about the good side and bad side of that as well, and I struggle with that as well. But if you're not connected, then you're not gonna find anybody. It's just the way the world works now. And like I often say, the world works in cycles, so I use the internet to hopefully get back to people and face-to-face connections. So here we are, face-to-face today, even though there's a camera and this is going all over the place. Once your production people get a hold of it and do the great work that they do. And I just try to make the world a smaller place, because the more people you can reach out to, that's one more person that you can say you've helped. And I just want to say that all of our staff at CP Nassau really, really are dedicated to their jobs, because this is the truth about nonprofits, is the wages have gone up slightly, but it's really not about the money. So I just want to thank all my staff and people like you that make it so easy to advocate for others, because it gives us hope for a new day every day.
Yeah, I'm grateful right along with you for the folks that work on the front lines, the DSPs, right? The folks who work in the residential settings, the folks who support, you know, whether it be CP Nassau or DDI or Rise Life Services or so many organizations on Long Island that serve the population. Have you had a lot of experience, Kevin, in meeting with elected officials? Do you want to do more of that, you know, as an advocate and educating these folks? Because it seemed like a lot of people in the room knew you at that event back in October. Do you get a lot of access to these people? And if not, do you want more access to these people?
More access is always a good thing.
Yeah.
We will meet with anyone who wants to meet with us, because I like to say that I'm not a one-man band, because as I'm sure you know, you can't be everywhere all the time. So we just try to kind of make sure we practice our message and our music, going back to the band metaphor.
Yeah, I like that metaphor.
And make sure we're hitting all the right notes. And
you're not gonna let it go.
you know, let people know that we are in harmony, because people like to divide nowadays.
Yes.
And like I said, I like to bring people together, you know, and get us focused on making our portion of the world at least a better place, because then that'll ripple out to everywhere else. Because I was just thinking about, you know, I live on the South Shore, and then when I met you, you said that this would be going out to the North Shore. So I was like, okay, great. More contacts, more help, and not only that, more awesome people to get in touch with.
I love that.
I can't wait to see what the ripple effect is from this, because I can guarantee you it's going to be positive.
Well, I agree with you, and what's great about it, so yeah, it does stream on the TV into people's homes up here, but even where I live up here on the North Shore, it doesn't go to my neighborhood. So the great part is we're going to have this on YouTube, and we're going to be able to put it out there. So folks are finding this probably on YouTube right now, and you'll have a copy. We're going to just put this out there because, excuse me, to your point, it's about getting in front of as many people as we can, and that ripple effect, I believe that ripple effect is infinite, Kevin. I think it just goes out, because people are going to find this who may never actually meet you or I in person, but they're going to learn about these important initiatives, and they're going to be affected by this conversation.
Yes, and if you heard the starfish story.
I love it. I was thinking of it 2 minutes ago. I don't know why I was thinking of it 2 minutes ago when you said something else about helping out one person. So tell us the starfish story, please.
It's literally one of the stories that is the lifeblood of our agency, because one of our symbols is a starfish.
That's right. The logo is the starfish, right?
Yes.
I didn't realize it was for that story, though.
There was literally this guy that starfish were washing up to the beach from the ocean, and this young person was literally throwing them back into the ocean one by one. And this old man came up and looked and said, "Why are you doing that? There's no possible way it'll make a difference. There are too many." And the young guy looks back, throws another fish back in the ocean, and said, "It made a difference to that one." Yeah. So if we can make a difference to one other person, this whole thing, this whole conversation we're having is worth it. So that's what drives me to get up in the morning. So if I could leave people with that, then we've had a great day. Just make a difference to one other person today, and you've had a great day, because you don't know how many people they'll reach with positivity. And you may not even know you helped them, but it's all about the effort, not the gratitude we get from it. Because if you do a good enough job, it'll come back to you in ways you won't even imagine. So just keep doing good things for people, and good things will keep happening.
You know, thank you for all that. And I'm watching you in awe. I don't even have questions. I'm just watching, like this is me watching a clinic. It's a motivational speaker telling great stories, talking about the stuff that's important to me. All I want to say to you is thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for continuing to have this dialogue, because I'm sitting here listening to you tell the starfish story, which I still knew the ending, but I was experiencing it for the first time through you telling it again. It felt like the first time. And Kevin, what if we all just helped one person a day? And that was that's not a heavy lift, one person a day making an impact. If we all were to do that, we don't have to help 10. Just help one person a day. I remember a story. I've actually told the story, I believe, here in the studio before. I used to go to school in New York City for college. I used to go to Baruch College, and I had to take the subway to school. And I was having a pretty bad day. I was in a very dark, sad, depressed place. And I was about 20 or 21 years old, and this little girl who didn't know me, and I'll never know her, she looked up and smiled at me, and it was something about the humanity, Kevin, and the connection that changed my mindset and literally changed my day, which was a dark day. I'll just leave it there. But I was changed by that. And that's got to be 25 years ago, 26 years ago. And I still remember that to this day. And it's a simple thing. It was a simple thing of a child smiling and that connection. You know, it doesn't take, you don't have to build somebody a house every day. You might just, you know, how are you? Check in on somebody, right? That thought of somebody, maybe it's, you know, what we used to do sometimes when we were kids, we would be driving on the highway back when you have to pay the toll and you actually had to pay it and it wasn't an easy pass. We would pay the toll for the guy behind us sometimes, just doing something nice like that, just for no reason. You know, you can just make an impact and change people's day. That's what you're talking about, right?
Right. I don't know what we need less of necessarily, but we need more humanity in our days. And that's what they do at CPNS, are humans helping humans just get through life. And if we keep doing that, the world will be a better place for it.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree. What is, in your experience at CP Nassau, since I know how important it is to you, can you tell us maybe one story of how your life has been improved and your experiences have been improved by working with the team over there?
Well, I mean, I've been able to do things that I never thought I would do. I never thought I'd be, you know, up in Albany talking to legislators. I can still barely spell legislator. Part of the problem with that is everything is spell checked now.
That's very true.
You don't have to be able to spell. That's a bit of a joke.
I like the joke because I'll tell you, I was talking to somebody recently and I complained that my children think they don't have to know how to spell. And the person who told me was like, well, maybe they don't, because of your point. Maybe they don't need to know how to spell.
Yeah, they should, because I remember when we used to take spelling tests, and man, every week we would learn new words, and I still remember how to spell some of those words, and but a lot of it is not what you say, but how you say it. It's not what you do, it's how you make people feel. So
yeah.
Maybe the one thing we need to learn is more empathy, and as long as we do that, we can teach each other everything else.
Yeah, I think empathy is right on. And this, just that experience that you say you got to go up to Albany and speak to legislators. Who knows better, Kevin, than somebody who's having the experience, right? So I don't have a disability similar to yours, so I can't really understand what it's like. So, and neither can a legislator who doesn't have that. So that's a, you know, is that not an individual conversation to get folks to understand the needs of people, right?
It is, it is. It's just each one teach one, and I learned something from them about the budget every trip that I go. So always having a learning growth mindset, that's how the world advances, and you know, it gets a little smaller and a little larger all at the same time, but a bit better off all at once. And all we want to do is make small improvements, and you can move mountains with your finger on a keyboard, which is scary and great all at the same time.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. I like that you say it's scary, but it's also pretty wild because we're interconnected, and you can make a big impact even, you know, with, you know, with the, how we, 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 you with that maybe it's relatively speaking a small effort, but yeah, the communication piece changes things and the access changes things, right? Like even if you think 30, 40 years ago, we weren't able to communicate the same way and have our message go across. Like we just talked about this. People are going to see this. People you and I will never meet will be able to see this conversation and will be impacted by it.
Right, and we may not think that it was our best effort, but as long as it helps one,
yes,
that was the point. So thank you for helping me spread the word about helping others, because each one teach one, we all learn something, and the world benefits. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome, and I'm glad you were here. And the story about the starfish, I'm not kidding. Right before, 2 or 3 minutes before, something you said about helping one person, it made me think about that. So I'm so glad you brought that story up. I think you should come back. We should do this a bunch more times. We'll continue to tell the message. Each one, teach one, right? Empathy, love, compassion. That's how we change the world, man. I'm a big Beatles fan. My daughter and I were working on a project. She has a project for National History Day, and she's doing it on how the Beatles changed music. And you know, those guys all those years ago, they just told us, they just said, all you need is love. And if we focus on that and focus on people, then I think we're better off. What do you say before we go?
That's a great story you just told, because to them, it was just music, right?
Yeah.
And look at the impact they made. So never discount your impact on the world, and always keep the energy positive, because you are the driver of your own metaphorical bus.
You are full of all these great things. I got to give you one more before we go. My brother, I'm so glad you were on this show. Thank you. Everybody, this is Long Island Changemakers. I'm here with a Long Island Changemaker. We got to end the show now because I got to talk to my friend Kevin even further. Everybody, make it a great day. Take care of people. Empathy, love, and it will make a difference, even if it's just for one starfish or one person. As my friend here, Kevin, says, each one, teach one. This is another In Focus production. Love you all. Make it a great day. See you soon. Bye. Thanks.